Giving Encouragement with your host, Dr. B. Glenn Wilkerson.
Stable, positive classroom environments do not just happen. They're created through intentionality and hard work. A primary factor in the building of positive relationships between a teacher and his students is the constant, purposeful use of encouragement. Encouragement is essential to the psychological and educational growth of children. It is important to clear up a popular misconception regarding the word encouragement. Many people use the terms praise and encouragement interchangeably, but there's a difference between the two. Praise focuses on a student's achievements, while encouragement focuses on a student's efforts to achieve. That concept is so important that I'm going to say it again in a slightly different way. Praise complements the results, while encouragement complements the effort. Praise can actually be a source of discouragement, inasmuch as a child can be led to believe that he is of value only if he performs well. Encouragement has the opposite effect. It helps remove the fear of failure and gives the child the courage to forge ahead in spite of his mistakes. It is commonplace for teachers to praise students for their successes and to tell them how smart they are. However, a growing body of research indicates that praise may have the opposite effect and that it may actually discourage student achievement. You see, students with high intelligence who are told over and over how smart they are often won't attempt new challenges for fear of being exposed as not being as bright as people expect them to be. In other words, an overpraised student is likely to come up with excuses and opt out of an activity if she thinks her continued involvement might prove embarrassing to her. On the other hand, a student who is recognized and appreciated for her effort is much more prone to proceed with courage and a sense of purpose, even when things are not going well. A girls' high school soccer team was playing in the finals for the state championship. They won by a score of 2-0. The goalkeeper had a brilliant game. When she came off the field, her coach told her, "You know, as I watched you out there, I was reminded of all the hard work you've exerted in practice that enabled you to play like you did today. I'm so proud of you." The next season, her team played in the state finals again. This time, however, their defense broke down, and the goalkeeper was like a target in a shooting gallery. They were beaten by a score of 10-1. When the goalkeeper came off the field that day, her coach walked out to meet her, put his arm around her shoulder, and said, "You never gave up. Through all the blood, sweat, and tears, you kept fighting. I'm so proud of you." In both instances, her encouraging coach complimented the goalkeeper's efforts rather than the end result. And the girl felt good about her participation in both games. That's the power of encouragement. As opposed to praise, it allows a child of any age to feel valued regardless of the outcome of the game in which she is participating. Here's how researcher John Taylor compares the effects of praise and encouragement. Praise focuses on quality of performance. Encouragement focuses on the amount of effort. Praise creates quitters. Encouragement creates triers. Praise fosters fear of failure. Encouragement fosters acceptance of being imperfect. Praise fosters dependence. Encouragement fosters self-sufficiency and independence. It's not true that a teacher should never praise. Praising a result can help a child to discover her strengths and talents. However, some caution needs to be used. Unfortunately, the early self-esteem movement encouraged parents and teachers to be praise junkies. Kids were complimented for every little positive thing they did. Children are very intuitive. They will recognize false praise and come to distrust even genuine praise from adults. So teachers need to be careful with their praise. The relative importance of encouragement and praise is well illustrated by seeing how they fit on the self-concept triad. Praise focuses on achievements, which is the basis of self-worth. Encouragement focuses on a child's efforts and on being unconditionally loved, which is the basis of self-esteem. As you can see on the triad, in building a student's positive self-concept, it is twice as important to encourage a child's efforts as it is to praise his achievements. Light praise can be a good thing, but it needs to be kept in perspective. There are two tactics that teachers often employ, hoping to encourage children that actually serve to discourage them. One of these sources of discouragement is adult overprotection. Sometimes teachers are overzealous in avoiding exercises that they think might be too difficult for their kids. Students need to be encouraged to stretch their boundaries and to attempt new things. While we ought not to pose impossible challenges that will diminish a child's sense of self-competency, children's skills need to be challenged if they're to be developed. Occasional mistakes and failures can be great learning tools, and they have the further advantage of informing a child that life is an adventure and that he or she can be an excellent person without being perfect. Another source of discouragement is when teachers subject students to damaging comparisons. Contrary to popular belief, making comparisons between kids does not serve to encourage them. The non-achieving child is only further reminded of the hopelessness of his situation, and the achieving child often begins to feel anxious about trying to stay ahead. Every young person is wonderfully different and unique, and an encouraging teacher focuses on the individual child without subjecting him to comparisons with others. Encouraging children requires intentional effort upon the part of a caring teacher. Stephen Covey says that people establish an emotional bank account with one another. Through words of encouragement, teachers make deposits into the emotional bank account of their students, and the result is a high trust level and good communication with them. If there is a surplus of goodwill deposits in the account, children and their teachers are able to have their occasional confrontations and still continue to honor and respect each other. When constructive criticism needs to be shared, it should be done privately, not in front of other persons or the class, and it should be accompanied by words of affirmation. In fact, the session should begin with an affirmation that assures the student that you're on his side and desire the best for him. Words like, I like you, Miguel, and I want to talk with you about your behavior in my class. Teachers make withdrawals from their students' emotional bank account through disrespect, criticism, and threats. All too often, disparaging remarks far outnumber the words of encouragement given to children, and their account gets overdrawn. The result is estrangement and distrust. In order to create warm, caring relationships with children, teachers can ask themselves on a daily basis, have my deposits into my students' account exceeded my withdrawals today? Have I been a source of encouragement to them? Children seek approval, and encouragement is a legitimate way to give it. Giving encouragement provides positive feedback to children who are trying hard, and it motivates them to keep trying in spite of failure. Encouraging a student means focusing on her efforts rather than the outcome of an activity. It means not subjecting her to damaging comparisons with other children. And it means being creative and intentional in regard to making positive contributions to the child's emotional bank account. Building a student's positive self-concept through encouragement is a central task of a nurturing teacher. Here's some things to think about in giving encouragement. The best preventive of student misbehavior is a caring, encouraging teacher. There's a difference between praise and encouragement. Praise focuses on a student's achievements. Encouragement focuses on a student's efforts to achieve. Encouragement helps remove the fear of failure and gives a student the courage to forge ahead in spite of her mistakes. Praise can be a source of discouragement inasmuch as a child can be led to believe that he is of value only if he achieves. There are two things that teachers often do hoping to encourage students that actually serve to discourage them. One is overprotection. Students need to be encouraged to stretch their boundaries and to attempt new things. Another source of discouragement is student comparisons. The non-achieving student is only further reminded of the hopelessness of his situation, and the achieving student often begins to feel anxious about trying to stay ahead. Through words of encouragement, teachers make positive deposits into the emotional bank account of their students. Teachers make withdrawals from their students' emotional bank account through disrespect, criticism, and threats. Building a student's positive self-concept through encouragement is a central task of a nurturing teacher.